From the president, who is pushing for more free trade during his final year in office. Will his efforts fall on deaf ears in Congress? We will check in as soon as we get the tape from that, and we will find out exactly what he and some lawmakers are concerned about as far as their re-election prospects as the long-term direction of the economy moves all over the place.
Yeah, we've seen Democrats, of course, switch side on this issue. Our Fox panel is here now to talk about. We have Charles Payne from WStreet.com, Peter Schiff, author of Crash Proof, Victoria Barrett from Forbes, and Gary Keltbaum from GaryK.com. Charles, first to you. The irony of the debate on the North American Free Trade Agreement with Hillary Clinton among the Democratic Party is that Bill Clinton was one of its biggest supporters. Without Bill Clinton, we probably wouldn't have NAFTA right now. He wasn't the originator of it, but he pushed hard, went against the unions, went against a lot of members of his own party for this thing, and now Hillary is looking to back away from it.
It's amazing, but then again, she's backpedaling on a lot of things right now. You got to really be very, very nervous between the rhetoric that's coming from her and obviously the front runner, Barack Obama, because when you start to talk about punishing corporations that do business abroad or get tax favors or to keep certain jobs here, obviously that smacks of protectionism. It's an awful time to be talking about protection, and particularly when these foreign countries are dumping billions of dollars on our financial institutions to keep them solvent. Could you imagine the lines at Citibank if they probably didn't get the money that they've received in the last couple of months? So people out there have to be very careful because, we've always talked about the global economy. It is more so now than ever before, and I don't think we can put that genie back in the bottle.
Peter Schiff, is there any case where protectionism in even any type of sector would work? I mean, obviously the free market seems to work best, but from your perspective, what do you think?
No, we always want to have free trade, but the real problem for the American economy and the world is that we haven't been trading. Normally with trade, you export and then you import. You're trading products, but unfortunately, we've been exporting IOUs to pay for our products. That's why we have this $60 billion a month trade deficit. So the world has been subsidizing our excess consumption, and we're starting to feel the repercussions from that now because there's been so much inflation. Remember, these foreign central banks are flooded with dollars that exporters around the world earn, and they have to print them up. I mean, that's where these sovereign wealth funds are coming from and these foreign reserves, and inflation is running out of control.
Yeah, but Victoria, wouldn't inflation be even higher than it is if it wasn't for all those cheap imports?
Well, yeah, in the U.S. probably Peter has a point, though, in that by trading with countries, in a sense, we export inflation because dollars are sloshing around globally. But that's not a reason to clamp down on trade. That's not a reason to trade less. We should be trading more. And now, certainly on the government level, we shouldn't be raising barriers. But that's the rhetoric coming out of, it's election year. What else do you expect? Hillary and Barack are in Ohio and Texas, and that's got to be the message. McCain, on the other hand, has made a really good point on trade, and he said, look, 95% of the world's consumers are outside of the U.S. Long term, that's the trend that matters.
Okay, so Gary Keltbaum, what's your perspective on this?
Look, I think the big problem is I believe George Bush doesn't have the bully pulpit anymore, and really nobody's listening. You have Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton daily out there saying NAFTA stinks, trade is no good, and we got to start looking at this in a different way going forward and protect this country versus everything else out there. And I have to tell you, not good. Go look at the last 20 years as trade opened up, barriers came down, economies around the world has gone bonkers to the upside, and I'm hoping
Gary,
we don't turn back the clock.
Carlos Gutierrez about a year ago came out, and you saw the market tank on the news when he said that they were going to put up some barriers to certain coated paper coming out of China because they felt that the Chinese were flooding it with cheaper imports, and so they shut that down. That really slammed the market. This seems to cover both sides of the aisle, Gary.
Well, listen, true, but I mean, still George Bush is mostly free trade. There has been point in time where they mentioned steel and things like that, but that speaks for itself, what you just said, Liz. Every time we hear about tariffs and protectionism, markets do not like it. You are correct.
Of course, Charles, the good thing about candidates running for president is candidates can't change trade policy. Bill Clinton, before he became president, had an anti-trade policy on a whole lot of issues that changed dramatically when he became president. Remember Al Gore? Al Gore was the champion of free trade when he was in office. Now that he's out, he's sort of lukewarm on it.
Well, obviously, I mean, especially from my perspective, and I think from Wall Street's perspective, is we hope that what happens in reality, if the Democrats get the White House, doesn't live up anywhere near the hype and the rhetoric right now. That because hopefully the brighter heads, level heads will prevail, and they'll see like, listen, this is going to absolutely destroy the economy. Maybe it won't be a topic until re-election time, but hopefully it won't. They won't have the same impact.
The real problem is not going to come from Washington. It's going to come from Beijing. It's going to come from Riyadh. When these governments stop buying up all these dollars and stop propping up our currency, then we're not going to be able to trade because we're not going to have anything to trade for.
Okay, you know what? We've got this
Peter,
situation.
China wants